I'm Erin Lawler Patterson, the goodness chick. I'm an addictions counselor, motivational speaker, author, and parent coach. Join me on the journey of navigating the joys and pitfalls of life, addressing parenting, giving back, mental health, addiction, and relationships. If it takes a village, then join me as one of those villagers. Villagers wanted. All right, so today I'm super pumped for my guest is Heather Gardner, who is a colleague of mine. She's a guidance counselor, also is SAC certified, and that's kind of where our paths crossed a number of years ago. Mm-hmm. And she super duper popped in my head a while ago when I was thinking about how I really wanted to talk about the importance and the power of Mother's Day. And we have that kind of creeping up on us. And Heather, who is a mom, a counselor, a stepmom, and kind of embodies all things goodness / I think insight, wisdom, and mom.
Thank you.
So with that, and something that I hold near and dear to my heart, not just about being a mom, but also being a stepmom, I think we're in a unique club.
Yes.
And so when we're going to kind of first jump on the Mother's Day wagon, and I feel like Mother's Day is something that is an opportunity we don't always utilize and tap into for our kids to value us. And whether it's kids we've worked with mm-hmm. and watching their interaction with their parents, whether they're valued or not valued, or ourselves. I mean, what's your take if I were to say, like, what's your perception of Mother's Day, both as a mom mm-hmm. And as a stepmom, and how are some ways that you've kind of tapped into utilizing it as teachable moments with your kids in terms of their character and their outlook on life and how they view you?
Let's see. So
that's a lot of questions.
I know, yeah. So Mother's Day to me is a really good day to show somebody how much you appreciate them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your biological mom, but it could be somebody that made a difference in your life. Mm-hmm. So Mother's Day around our house is a big deal. So I was sharing with you earlier a particular story about celebrating Mother's Day. So one of the ways that your kids can show that they appreciate you is, it doesn't even have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to cost anything. Mm-hmm. So just by, doing the things that you've taught them to do throughout the years. So, I will make a big breakfast for them for different celebrations. You're graduating from high school. Let's have a big breakfast. You had a great game yesterday. Let's have a big breakfast. So last year for Mother's Day, I got up and I sat there and my kids made me a huge breakfast. Mm-hmm. So they made me awesome. Scrambled eggs. They made me waffles. They sliced up strawberries. All of my favorites. Mm-hmm. So, and
it celebrated you.
Exactly. And it celebrated me because it was something that I had always done for them on a big day. So now in turn, they were doing it for me. Yeah. And that meant so much more to me than, honestly, I don't even remember what the gift was that they bought me.
It was the thought.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that parent that's listening? That's like, well, listen, the day life is crazy and really, they don't need to take the time and that it's not really necessary to kind of dote on me. I think sometimes we get into a mindset like where I think we undervalue ourselves, but also cut short learning experiences for our kids. I am so passionate about that, using times to be learning lessons for our kids, for them to value us, where we're not just like, hey, the person that throws pancakes on the table and drives them to practice and pays the bills. Like, we're a person.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know in today's society that it is all about our kids. Mm-hmm. We're driving our kids everywhere. We're doing everything for our kids. Our kids forget their shoes. We take them to the school. Our kids forget their saxophone like my son did the other day. I'm texting people figuring out how to get the saxophone to him. But you know what? Just like we do everything for them, we are owed that too. Yeah. So let's see, where was I? Oh, so we're owed that too. So you have to take the time out, to appreciate yourself also. And you are doing a great job, and you deserve a pat on the back.
Mm-hmm.
This is not all about give, give, give.
Mm-hmm. And it's not selfish.
It's not being selfish to take something. You know what? I have read this article once. Gosh, I was newly married, and I read this article about a happily married couple, and somebody asked them, "Why are you so happily married?" And the wife said, "Because when I want flowers, I tell my husband I want flowers. When I need something, when I need a break, I tell my husband I need a break." Or so she valued herself just as much as she valued the rest of her family and did for them. And that way her cup was filled also.
And our cup needs to be filled. And I think it's important for our kids to see us more than just a label.
Yeah. They should never, ever, ever take advantage of the kindness that you are offering them. And I think that happens a lot in today's society.
Happens a lot. And I think that's one of the issues. And it's, I think, inevitable with our younger kids and teenagers to just like life revolves around me and allowing moments to say like you're, giving thanks, showing your gratitude and thinking about another person, I think goes so far. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think that's what we're called to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think packs a punch, but now here's the twisting things a little bit that we are both kind of gold card members of, the Stepmom Club, where, I think, being a stepmom, I think is a beautiful thing, but it's challenging. That I think unless you're in the club, it's really hard to kind of grasp. I think that it's something, and there's all different circumstances. I know for myself, when I met my husband, his first wife had passed away. And so when I, entered the marriage, it was never, ever an intention of being mom ever, but I am a parent. I am schlepping, I am cooking, I am loving, I am caring, and that importance of being valued needs to be there. And, when it's not, it's hard. So, I mean, if I were to ask you, what has it in past and what does it mean now to you? Like, I'm sure that's changed over the years.
Yeah.
And like, where does maybe Mother's Day fit into that?
Yeah. So let's see. So for my situation, my stepson's mom was very distantly in the picture.
Okay.
So I think that a lot when my son was younger, he thought that I was trying to replace her, which was never my intentions. I was always trying to be in addition to. Like, I used to say to him, a lot like, "Oh man, you are so lucky. You not only have a dad who loves you, but you have two moms who love you." And for me, I was the one who was doing all the schlepping there when he, fell off his bike, or when he learned how to ride his bike for that matter, or I was the one who was there for all of the ups and downs, the highs and lows in his life. So, and his biological mom was kind of just that one that called every once in a blue moon and, thought life was great because she was calling. So, I did feel like on Mother's Day that, hey, I do deserve some recognition here for all the stuff that, I'm doing. And that was really difficult for him because it's a shame to be put in that situation when you're that young. So
it is, and it's that the thinking of the kids as individuals, like it's hard because it's like there's stories and there's hurt and there's all this stuff.
Yeah. So I think just being mindful of your step-parent, your stepchild's history. Like, don't be like, oh, it's all about me and I deserve, but also...
Well, that could backfire big time.
Yeah. But also like, well, I am taking care of you, so show me the same respect that you would to your biological mom. So... And
even if that's like, I know... some people have like even created, their stepmother's day, where it's like, okay, you're not mom, but you're stepmom. I think you like taking advantage of an opportunity to show appreciation and gratitude in a way that kind of
is special.
Yeah. And I think to overlook that we lose out as parents, but the kids lose out on in terms of a teachable moment and like realizing, wow, like, okay, this person, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized the power of gratitude and how it's life altering in character.
Exactly.
And it's life altering for how it can affect our kids' relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it isn't all about us as, you know, Mom's Day, but it's everybody's got a story, taking things into consideration,
Yes.
but like taking time. I'm like, if there's one day out of the year, you know, even if
step.
you make it up and it's Stepmom's Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
November 13th, whatever it is. It's taking time.
Yeah, so the interesting thing now, we're talking about taking time. The interesting thing now is I am the step grandmom.
Okay.
So now
What are you called? What?
I'm Mimi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mimi.
Yeah. So I think because when he was younger, there was that gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I don't care what our personal relationship is like. You still have to be kind and thankful and appreciative of these things that are being done for you. So now, as he's an adult, you know, it's great. We're fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think when kids have kids, it does kind of change the dynamics, where it's like, whoa, and he's a step parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think filled with gratitude, just like, wow, what you went through. Which is actually, that's awesome. Like for him to kind of like, wow. And I think you're awesome.
Well, thank you.
But I think when they get older, I think kids kind of throw a different angle to it when they have kids, and it's like, wow. And your grandma, you know, and it could be multiple grandmas.
Yeah, because now that whole step thing
is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, to those kids, I am Mimi, and that's all they know.
That's all you are.
Yeah,
no
so
strings
there's
attached.
none of that history.
Yeah,
there.
That's stepness.
Yes.
That I'm like, can we come up with another name? Because step anything, you know, I'm like, between Disney movies that vilify us, and I'm like, everything, there's no happy, there's no happy stepmom depiction that I've come across, where I'm like, and even like, you know, when we're counseling people in the context of like my step parent, most of the time there's kind of negatives attached to that, and it's hard, man.
It is hard.
I'm
super
like,
hard.
We're people and we're trying, but there's baggage on all ends of the spectrum with all of us. And so I think the more we talk about, I think it's like a club of whether it's a, you know, your step brother, step sister, you're a step parent, especially step parenting. There's a lot of layers to it. And then I think Mother's Day has a lot of layers. Instead of, you know, it's a card for moms, you know, there's step parents, there's moms, there's
aunts, there's grandmas,
there's grandmoms, and there's all those people that have supported us and loved us that, you know, are pseudo moms, right?
Absolutely. That's That's why I was saying, like, you know, for any role that you're playing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a biological mom. Just for any person that has shown you kindness over the years, take a moment to say thanks.
To say thank you, and I also it has made me over the years more sensitive to those who maybe wanted children, and don't and have not had them, or those who have lost children.
Yeah.
And this is where it's kind of taking opportunities to being sensitive to people.
Yeah.
Because life's a struggle sometimes. And it's like, sometimes these occasions can kind of put salt in a wound.
Yeah.
You know, just like if you have a relative and, you know, they're not here anymore. It's hard. Those days are compounded. And, you know, and I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that? With there's so many people with hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not about like sitting in a corner and humming and lighting candles and being sad, but it's about
just being conscious
aware
of what's going on around you. Like, you know, when you and I were talking about the times when, you know, they're saying, oh, everybody who's a mom, stand up. And, you know,
that sinking feeling.
Oh God, I know my girlfriend has had 6 miscarriages and, you know, that relationship ended and now she has no kids and, you know, she's sitting over here. And, you know, I guess just being like, it doesn't mean you have to be embarrassed about it, but just maybe offering a
sensitive
kind word.
Yeah. Or giving them a flower that they maybe pass out at church or at temple or at wherever,
maybe they're not
grocery store.
Biologically or, you know, a step parent, but maybe they have somebody in their life.
Yeah.
That they are caring for.
And I think this is like, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, any whatever holiday, it's honoring other people, being sensitive, being compassionate, and infusing gratitude.
Yeah.
that goes far. Because it's like, as life goes on, everybody's got a story, everybody's got stuff, and when we appreciate each other, it makes us better. And give gratitude.
There's that
yeah,
word.
And even if it's like writing down, like I appreciate you, and thank you for driving into practice, and thank you for little thank yous go, I think, really, really far, and kind of put more fuel in your tank. Because it's easy to feel not valued at times.
This is what I always say to my kids too, me and all my kid lessons. So there's lots of things that I'll do with my mom that, maybe aren't the highlight of my day, but they're the highlight of her day. And that is another way to show gratitude, is that when my mom wants to go sit and listen about the honeybees at the Vincenttown, Rotary Club, you take that hour and a half out of your day, because like I'll say to my kids, I hope that the day when I ask you to go to a honeybee conference, that you will understand what you're doing. It's just because you're paying back. You're offering kindness to somebody who deserves it.
Deserves it. Yeah. Good on you and your honeybee workshop.
Oh, believe me, there's way more than that. But, that's just one of them.
But it's a great point. Yep. It's a super great point.
Yeah.
And so
take the time. Stop what you're doing. And on my mom's end, my mom has the right to ask me to do that. She doesn't have to say, oh, she's too busy, I shouldn't ask her. Ask them. Tell your kids.
Yeah, come with me.
I tell my kids, you need to go to that honeybee conference with me when I ask you when I'm 70 years old.
Good on you. Yeah. And I think that the importance of asking and not letting people read your mind.
Exactly.
That now we get disappointed. Well, why didn't they do? Well, just ask. And dialogue about it.
Nobody's a mind reader.
Yeah, nobody's a mind reader. Sometimes we think people are mind readers, and that gets us shortchanged and feelings hurt. So, ask. So with that, I say, take some time for your Mother's Day, whether your mom is with us or they are not with you. And taking time to just give gratitude maybe to that person in your life who is kind of your pseudo mom or your mom or that step parent, or just taking time to recharge if you need it, because I think that's just uber important.
You deserve it.
You deserve it, and know that you deserve it. So with that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you have not already, I don't know, it's taking you so long, hop on Goodness Chicks podcast, man. We're rocking out. And leave a review if you get a chance. Wishing you a great day of gratitude that brings just good things. Peace, love, and goodness, my friends. If you enjoyed today's show, I encourage you to subscribe to Goodness Chicks podcast and pass it along to your friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and have a great day.